Hey, somebody needs to start the fire. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. Well, I hope you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by our friends at Tucker ATV. You know, the sheer variety of power sport products at Tucker ATV is astounding to me. They have the Hustler turf equipment, the entire line of Echo power tools, not just what you saw in the big box stores. They got everything. And of course, Tucker ATV carries every make and model of Polaris ATVs. They have the big Polaris side-by-sides, the Ranger Cruise, and you have to see the showroom. You have to see, it's just taxidermy, antique displays, and an indoor porch with its own porch swing inside. There's comfortable chairs, television, complimentary coffee. Just stop in and meet Shannon and Lisa Tucker. They treat customers like family, which of course is why folks from 14 states have done business with Tucker ATV. Highway 43 North in Jackson, Alabama. Tucker ATV, the small town business with the national reputation. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on the Professional Noticer. And as you know, we love it when somebody comes to the table with both. We have something very unusual for you today. You're going to get such a kick out of this guy. And let me give you a little bit of the background of where he is right now. And we'll ask some questions about that. But the oldest hunting and fishing lodge in Alaska was established in 1937. It's over 100 miles from the nearest road. It's a checkpoint on the Iditarod dog trail race, and the lodge itself is a high-end adventure place. Yeah, we're going to find out more about this, but they have right there with it Camp Ironsights, which is a retreat, a camp for at-risk youth. And so we're going to find out more and more about this. You're going to be as interested in this as I am. So please welcome the summer camp coordinator and the lodge owner, Steve Perrins. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Hi, Andy. Doing great. How are you doing today?
Good. Now, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm actually in Anchorage, Alaska, about 125 miles from our lodge. It's a seasonal operation, so I'll be heading back out there June 1st when the lake, the ice on the lake finally goes out and we can fly our float plane back out there.
Wow. Now, so tell me the name of the lodge. This is the Perrins.
The Perrins Rainy Pass Lodge, correct. So... Yep. Yeah. My parents started working there in the late 70s with the original owners. They bought it in 2003, and my wife and I are kind of in transition, taking it over from my folks right now.
I am curious. How do you market a place that's 100 miles from the nearest road?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's historically been more of a hunting lodge. So like we'll travel down to the States and do different hunting shows. It's really about 80% repeat and referral business.
Right.
But with the just websites, internet, booking agents and stuff kind of helps just with all of that. So
yeah, I mean, I was just like, because obviously you have to fly in, right?
Yep. Yeah, we fly in small bush planes, de Havilland Beavers on floats. So everything out there is flown in, and including the 20 horses we have. So
good grief. So
yeah.
so the lodge operates as its own thing.
Right. Yep.
And who usually comes to that? Because this is a high-end luxury lodge.
Right. It is. Yep. Yeah. It's a real, top end, millionaires, billionaires come from all over the world to come and just get an authentic Alaskan experience. So whether it's winter activities in the Iditarod and snow machining, or summer tourist activities, or, the hunting season in August and September, those are kind of our different segments. And yeah, it's fun. It's always something different.
When you have I guess now I'm thinking about the Iditarod sled race, and when the you if you are a checkpoint on the race, you're seeing them all, right?
Yeah. Yep. We are. Yeah.
I mean,
We're
that's
right
like
in.
having a front row seat to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. The dog teams come right across the lake, right out in front of our cabins, and we're right in the middle of like two of the most treacherous spots on the trail. So, like, we quite often have to go do rescues of mushers and other people that are out there, and just going through the Alaska mountain ranges is difficult.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll bet. And so when you had tell me about the genesis of Camp Ironsides because I'll tell you how I found out about you guys. Somebody sent us a picture of a bunch of campers, looked like young adults or older teenagers, and there's like 8 or 10 of them sitting around in a camping situation, and they were
Hmm.
reading the Young Traveler's Gift.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that and I said, "Where's this from? What is this? This is cool." And
Yeah.
so we found you, and then found Camp Ironsides, and found out that Young Traveler's Gift is part of your curriculum there. But explain to me how Camp Ironsides came to be and exactly what it is.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of a neat story because it was about probably about 15 or 16 years ago now. I met my wife at a fundraiser, and the night that we met, we talked about doing some kind of camp to help at-risk youth. It had always been a passion of my wife Carly's. She's got a master's degree in social work and like a minor's in child psychology and development, and she's always worked with tough kids through the school district, and she's been very, very passionate about that. I've always wanted to do something to kind of help make a difference. I think we all have a personal responsibility on how we leave this world. And I didn't know what that looked like. I tried getting involved with politics for a little bit, working for some legislatures, and that's kind of a discouraging path. I found out, at least for me. So so just after meeting my soon to be wife, and at the time, then we have this lodge, this just beautiful place that's just like you're in the middle of God's country, and it's healing and like just inspiring to just be out there. And I'm like, it would be nice to get, kids out of the city and just out here to enjoy this place. And so my wife and I kind of talked about it over the years, and after we got married, just decided to start this camp. And she's like, "You can't just start a camp, like there's all these things." And I'm like, "Why not? Let's just do it, We'll
Just
just
start a
start it."
camp.
And so the guy that sent you that picture is Ronnie Engel. He actually lives in I think Fairhope, Alabama, not too far
Yeah,
from
not too
he
far from us.
yeah. He's been one of our founding members, and he flies up from Alabama every year for the camp, and just been a huge mentor and helping my life and getting this started. So
Wow.
started a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and just started doing it. So this will be, I think, our 13th camp this June coming up here. So
So what does the camp entail, and how are the campers chosen or given to you, or whatever happens?
so it's a 9-day camp. It's part personal growth and part wilderness experience. It's for kind of at-risk boys age 15 to 19. And we kind of say what teenage boy isn't at risk, that just that
Right.
transitioning from teenagers to adulthood is difficult. And a lot of the boys we deal with just come from troubled homes or absent fathers, and some of them are homeless, and just a bunch of random kind of hardships they're dealing with. So they come out for 9 days. They're totally off their cell phones, no internet, nothing, and just get a time to experience a lot of wilderness activities. So we do gun safety and archery and horseback riding. They all learn to saddle their own horse. We do water safety and water sports. They'll do a 3-hour horseback ride to a more remote log cabin and do an overnight there. We have work projects during the camp, so each camper gets a chance to be the leader, and we work on leadership skills with them, and then kind of talk about like what employers are looking for in the workforce, kind of prep them for jobs and give them some help there. We have a daily lesson, and each evening we have them read a chapter in the Traveler's Gift. Sometimes it's a couple chapters, so we can get done in time throughout camp. And when we initially started this, we were like, what kid's gonna want to go to a summer camp and like read a book? Like that doesn't sound very fun. But I was shocked. Like every year the kids ask for more time to read. Like they really love that book. And we started with the Traveler's Gift and then realized you had the Young Traveler's Gift. And like that's just spot on for these kids. They really relate to it. Like the messages in there, forgiveness and association are two of our main messages that really impact these kids. And in the book, it's seek wisdom, is kind of how you phrase that chapter. But like, it was interesting to find out as I was prepping for this camp, like, there's a lot of different material out there in books and everything, and like, a lot of them are saying like similar things. And I found a lot of them are kind of biblical principles that have been around for thousands of years. And just the way you lay that out in your book, like it really impacts the kids. I mean,
Wow.
choosing to be happy. I mean, that's helped me a lot in my life. Like I
Me
always
too.
thought
Me too.
I always thought that's not a choice. You're either upset or you're not, but that's not the reality of it. Like you can choose to be happy. And a lot of these kids with the things they've dealt with, like realizing that they have a choice in that is very helpful for them. So,
Man, that is awesome. I appreciate you telling me that. I had no idea, and I'm honored to be a part of what you guys are doing. So, who pays for this? I mean,
um, so we,
for these people to come.
yeah, great question because it's extremely expensive to operate out there. I mean, it costs us about $7,000 per kid to put this on because by the time you fly out the counselors and the campers and prep everything, like those bush planes are just very expensive.
Sure.
Um,
Well, it's
so
like I would imagine. You go to the Caribbean, or if you go to the Caribbean, you'll see everything's very expensive. All the
yeah,
food, everything, and you're like, well, obviously, because they don't make any of it here. They have to fly it all in, and
yeah.
you have to fly everything in.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And we're flying it in small bush planes. So, I mean, we're totally self-sufficient out there with our own diesel generators and water and septic and everything. So, um, but this is kind of a segment of the year. We do one camp a year where we just kind of block off the whole lodge just to try to help these kids. And so we realize, most people aren't going to be able to afford to do something like this, especially the kind of kids that we're working with. So we started a 501(c)(3) nonprofit called Guiding Influence, and we do all of our own fundraising. So we don't get any government grants or anything. We just get private donations. We put on our own fundraiser each year and just wanted to do it just to kind of do it something that we could, do on our own and get the support of caring people that are out there without relying on anything else.
All right. So I heard you mention the biblical principles. Is there a spiritual aspect to this, or is it understated? I'm curious.
So the camp's not like a religious camp. Like all
Right.
the teachings and principles are based on biblical principles. There's a Bible verse that goes with each camp. All the volunteers and men involved are Christian men. So like we know we gotta try our best to have a good moral foundation and live in
Sure.
our lives in a good way, hopefully. And
It's
but it
not. It's not a Christian camp. It's a camp run by Christians.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Yep. And we're going, we want it to be open to anybody. So we're meeting people where they are, we'll share what we've learned in life. but we don't push anything on them. Everybody's got their own choices to make. And we get a lot of our kids through the school district, through child services, that kids that just need help and don't have much support at home. So it's just kind of our mission to help them wherever we can, and whether that's in just basic life skills or something more. We believe that true change comes from above, but it's all God's work. We just try to open the door and don't push anything on them. So,
Yeah, man, I am so glad that we have finally caught up with each other. We will have how to connect with the 501c3. We'll have that in the show notes and everything. And I guess you have a Facebook account or web pages that we can also share, because I know a lot of people are going to want to keep up with you guys.
Nice. No, that's great. Yeah, they can follow us on Facebook. We'll be putting our camp pictures out from this year on Facebook here in the next few weeks. Camps from June 7th through the 15th this year. So there'll be a lot going on there.
Awesome. Well, buddy, Thank you for joining us. Is there anything I've missed? Anything that if I had known to ask, I would have asked?
No, I don't think so. The only thing, after camp, the kids leave camp changed after 9 days, but they're going back to the same atmosphere and influence that they're in.
Sure.
So, like, we have our counselors and mentors kind of help the kids after camp too with a mentorship program. And for us, it's not just a 9-day deal. We're trying to walk with these kids through life. We help them get jobs and driver's license, move out of bad living situations. We actually have past campers coming back now as mentors and counselors to the new campers. And
wow,
that has been very, very impactful, because these kids see these other kids just a few years older sharing their stories. And so, there's a lot of hurt and pain out there. Like the need is great. Alaska's like the most dangerous state in the U.S., they say, and it's not because of the bears or the winters or wilderness. It's violent crimes and all the bad things that happen. And just want to encourage people to do whatever they can to help wherever they're at, because it takes all of us. And I really appreciate what you do, Andy. Like, it's a huge help for us and everybody out there. I mean, we don't often hear all the impacts that things like this have and books like yours have, but like, it makes a huge impact in a lot of people's lives. So,
well, thank you, buddy. And I'm honored to team up with you guys. So
yeah,
absolutely.
That'd be great.
So thanks for being with us.
Thank you. You have a great day.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye.
I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Artificial plastic for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by the new board game designed for family and friends, Tase Me Now. Soon to be available in every state, Tase Me Now uses game pieces and dice to advance around the board. Can you answer the questions in a calm manner? Can you roll the dice without cussing? If not, just be the first to yell, "Tase me now," and you will get the shock of your life. The object of the game is to not be the only one untased when the game is over. That's Tase Me Now, coming soon to a toy or gun store near you.